Good evening, world. Good evening, YouTube. I would like to thank you for joining me here today. I have some things that I have to report to you. I had no intention of making any public appearances. The opportunity to have your metadata mined by the NSA or any other corporation is altogether too easy and too prevalent when dealing with things like Facebook or YouTube. What brings me here today is the fact that I am going dark. I can no longer maintain my internet connection. I had only just recently finished a very serious fight with hackers from the opposition. By the opposition I mean the right wing, KKK, Nazis, even conservative Republicans, because those lines are too often blurred, mixed, or the difference is altogether non-existent. I suffered heavy losses at their hands, but none of them were sufficient enough to silence me completely, and will never be sufficient enough for me to apologize for my morals, ethics, or principles. What I've come here to discuss today, and what may be my first and last message, are the rules for being anonymous. There are rules to being anonymous. I was there in the beginning when anonymous was just a concept. I was most likely there before even 4chan picked it up. I was just a blogger who went viral. This was in 02, 04. When to suggest anything that went against the government narrative was considered instant treason. I am a veteran. I did swear to uphold, represent, and protect the Constitution of the United States. And that Constitution had nothing to do with McCarthyism. It had nothing to do with a police state. It had nothing to do with witch hunts, with discriminating against religion, nationality, a creed, beliefs, races. And I saw that history was repeating itself. Instead of burning the Reichstag, the Twin Towers were now being used to excuse everything from passing legislation on changing the name of French fries to freedom fries, to an open discussion on the congressional floor about opening internment camps for the entire Muslim population like they did with the Japanese during World War II. I was disgusted. I was completely aghast and horrified at the notion that the United States was becoming like Nazi Germany. And I did everything in my power to put a stop to it. in my discourses, because I was a very active and popular blogger from '02 to '07. I met some very interesting people, some very influential people who had connections in New York, who agreed with me. I don't know who they were, if they were liberal or Democrat or activists. I don't know who they were. And that is the way we always intended it to be. Because we understand that there's danger. Just because you don't consider somebody your enemy doesn't mean that they don't consider you an enemy. And if they're paranoid and they're dangerous and they're numerous enough, they can hurt you. And if they're operating, however falsely, under the guise of law and order, then those abusers won't stop at anything. And they'll have the resources of an entire state at their disposal. I followed orders when I thought they were right. I actually did disobey orders. Perhaps that didn't make me a good soldier, but it made me the type of soldier that the country deserves. And I would say to anyone in law enforcement or the military that when it's all said and done, regardless of anything they threaten you with, whether it be an NJP or a court-martial or extra duty, just know that you'll never be the same age again, that you'll never be in the same place doing the same thing again in your life. Orders come and go. Detachments come and go. Deployments come and go. NCOs and officers, they come and go. And when you're old and gray and you look back on your life, you don't want those regrets. Not on account of some pushy jerk off with a big mouth who you didn't like anyway. So you do what you have to do. But you know where the dividing line is, and you know what's at stake. Now, the rules. Rule number 1. Be anonymous. What does anonymous mean? It's not just a name. It's a definition. It means you cannot be identified. It means you can't be identified by a retinal scan. You can retinal scan these eyes all you like, but I think you'll find the results a little discouraging. I've seen far too many pictures, whether on Facebook or any other streaming source, of supposed anonymous members writing things on their hand and holding them up to the camera. But when you do this, they can take high resolution, high definition pictures of your fingerprints and identify you. So the mask is therefore no protection. Do not do that. I don't know where it came from. If it's something having to do with Naruto or some other cartoon or show, but they don't care what age you are. If you put on the mask, they will consider you a threat. And that means that they may go after your job, means that they may go after your family, it means that they may go after your credit rating. It means that they can go after you. And we don't need or want that to happen. So don't wear clothing with labels. Don't let them scan your retinas or your fingerprints. Don't use your real name. Use legal pseudonyms. Use legal aliases. But don't use your real name. The fact is that they have more than enough technology to track down your IP address, your MAC address, and they have many tricks to be able to identify you. And that may be all well and good. The point is, don't make it easy on them. And that leads us to rule number 2. Rule number 2, don't break any laws. Now, you might say, well, how do we wage a revolution without breaking laws? And I say to you, if you can't figure out how to bend, skew, cut around, flank, undermine, or go over a law without breaking it, you're not using your head. You're not thinking. You're not innovating. You're not using your imagination. And that is very unanonymous of you. We're not just hackers, but we are innovators. We are imaginative. This is our strength. Think like a gamer. If the enemy has a strong point, like a castle, a frontal assault is stupid. Laws are like this. A lot of them are set up to intimidate, to threaten you, to goad you into a response, so that you'll attack exactly where they want you to attack. And it's very effective. They've been doing it for hundreds of years, maybe even thousands of years. A lot of the societal structures that exist today have existed since Roman times. And that's who you're dealing with. That's how you have to think of them. They're antiquated and repetitive, but they're effective. Never doubt that. Never underestimate them. They're effective. That's why they've been so successful. So, by not breaking any laws, you don't give them any excuses to come after you. If they come after you, and they will, they'll have to expose themselves. They'll have to expose themselves for what they are. They are criminals. They're not interested in the law. They're not interested in enforcing the law. They're not interested in people who are breaking the law. They're interested in anyone who opposes them. And if you don't break any laws when you oppose them, then you strip away the only excuse that they've ever used, that they're just following orders, that they're just enforcing the law. When you take that away, their naked violence will be seen for what it is. Oppression, violence, a police state. Do not break any laws. The other reason you don't break any laws is so that they can't arrest you. If you become arrested, regardless of whether or not you're a political prisoner, you'll be thrown in with all the other prisoners, and those prisoners will not care that you're an activist. They will not care that you're out to do the right thing, that you're out to change society for the better. They'll just see you as a target. They won't be impressed by your hacking skills, by your lack of hacking skills, by your conscience. And the cops know this. So if they arrest you, and we're not organized to the point where we can hire lawyers to go and get you. We don't know who you are. And it's important that it stay that way. It's important because if you're captured, they're going to interrogate you. If they interrogate you, you will give up the names of friends, family, loved ones, and other members. Unless you don't know who they are. By being anonymous, we have no information to give them. And if we have no information to give them, then they have no reason to ask for that information. Rule number 3. We have no leader. We will never have a leader. If someone comes up to you and they're trying to organize a raiding party, you be very, very careful about who they are. Because the FBI, the NSA, the DHS, the CIA, they all have hired professional trolls who will and have pretended to be members of Anonymous. So, no Anonymous should ever come up to you saying, let's go do this. Let's form a group and do this. Because even though they're not claiming to be a leader, they are leading. They are choosing your targets for you. They are choosing your methods for you. And that shouldn't happen at all. If you're a hacker, your methods are hacking. And you should, all of you, be doing thorough research into who is genuinely evil and go after them. We are, by and large, vigilantes. A job that technically shouldn't be necessary but has become necessary through their corruption. But this is subjective. It's an issue of conscience, and every person has their own values, has their own morals, has their own conscience. So how the hell is somebody else supposed to pick a target for you? That should never happen. As far as methods are varied. If you're not a violent person, and I hope you're not, your methods will be non-violent. But don't imagine for a second that because you can't hack, that you don't have a method for resisting. Maybe you become inefficient. Maybe you become slow at your job. Maybe you become slightly uncooperative. I'm not telling you to get fired. Do your job, collect your pay. But should a 1%er come your way and require your services, maybe that's the time to evaluate how accidents might occur, how inconveniences and coincidences tend to happen. Nobody's at fault, nobody got hurt, and no laws were broken in any way, shape, or form. But in the way that a flaming bag of poo can leave a stench that lasts for anywhere between a month and 3 months, there are things just as inconvenient that might slow them down considerably, and has never had a law passed against it. The main reason why we have no leader is because all leaders are either assassinated for not cooperating or they're bribed. The very notion of leadership tends to corrupt people. So, rule number 3, we have no leaders. Please understand that there is a large amount of danger in playing at revolutionary. I myself have lost everything. I've lost my family, I've lost my country, I was rendered stateless. My credit history and my educational history was wiped out. And through attrition, I should be dead many times over now. It is not a game. It has never been a game. So please don't treat it like a game. There is great hope in Anonymous, what it's come to represent, due to the population size of countries like China, like Russia, the population size of continents like Africa, like Europe, the number of people who are volunteering their time, effort, and services to the anonymous ideal are literally millions now. We are a force for change, we are a force for good, we are a force for law and order, and more than that, of justice. Because justice transcends literature. It's not a bullet point. It's a notion of fairness and of right. I hope that before you don this mask, you consider everything that you might lose, because you will most likely lose that. Consider how evil our opponents are and how much danger you'll be facing. And most importantly, consider that you will get caught, that you will be punished, and that you will lose, because there is no war without sacrifice. There is no victory without loss. This is not some jolly romp. We are not invincible. We are flesh and blood. And we are fallible. There is no perfect security. There is no perfect disguise. There is no perfect tool. And the odds are that you will get caught. So assume that before you go into anything. Assume that and calculate the risk, calculate the punishment, and be prepared to face it. Hopefully that won't be necessary. Hopefully Anonymous will win some global victory long before they catch up to you. But as a man who's starving, as a man who's been beaten and broken, I strongly advise against it, or at the very least, I strongly advise against treating it like a game. Sure, use gamer theory, but a game it is not. I wish you all luck. I think we will win. Before I go, I want to express to you my definition of revolution. It's tempting through our education to believe that everything good comes after conflict, that it gets resolved at the point of a rifle. But that's just the military-industrial complex talking, and that includes Hollywood. So whether it be a recruitment poster or a movie with giant robots or laser rifles in it, just know that there's a victory that can be attained without firing a single shot, without opposing anyone. They say, the expression goes, that the best revenge is to live well. Well, maybe you can live well and find a way for others to live well also. I mean, develop solar energy. I mean, develop vehicles that don't run on gas. I mean, develop a way to build cheap or even free housing and make it all portable. Because as soon as you put down roots, as soon as you anchor yourself to a fixed point, they'll know where to find you and they'll try to break it. They'll try to steal it. So make it portable. And develop a way to where people who don't own land can grow food. And food that grows fast enough to where a person won't starve before the first crop comes in. If they depend on us to work for them, and Their greatest weapon is the money that we need to survive, to buy food, to buy clothing, and to buy shelter. Then when we get food, clothing, and shelter for free or for ourselves, then we don't need to buy those things, which means we don't need their money, which means we don't have to work for them. And without us, they are nothing. So we can emancipate ourselves and everyone else by designing a process and sharing that idea freely. Information, we will defeat them with information. Just like anonymous was the idea, this new information will be the revolution. And when we have that revolution and we get that for free and we share that openly and people liberate themselves, then we will have won. It'll spread like a virus. For me, that is my goal. You will wage your revolution the way you see fit, guided by your morals, by your principles. And I wish you health. I wish you luck. And more than that, and in the greatest way, I wish you victory. Because our cause is just. If you're listening to this message, then you are the revolution. I am Splatzloki. I am Anonymous 0. And I come to you like a thief in the night.